Okay. So today is March 19th, 2026 as I'm filming. Tomorrow morning, March 20th at 7:45 a.m. the sun, Pacific Standard Time, the sun moves into Aries. So I'm just looking at current transits with my horoscope in there. And it's pretty warm in here, so we're going to see how long that we can last. But there are a few things I want to talk about in this video, okay? Because truthfully, yes, there's a lot going on. You're going to hear astrologers saying that always. Honey. So don't let it overwhelm you, and that's why I'm here. Hopefully to break this down into more bite-sized pieces that make sense, that you can apply to your everyday life and make it make sense, okay? My name is Vanessa. I'm a personal astrologer. I've been studying astrology, Western astrology, since I was 7 years old under the context of this is my birth chart. I like to find out who I am. This is a main goal in my life, is to get to know myself as best as possible, right? Know thyself kind of hit me hard as a kid. So astrology for me I've always seen it through the context of personal growth, self-awareness, self-discovery. You get to choose, right? You're in charge of yourself. This is Planet of Free Will. If you haven't been here yet on my channel, this is stuff we're talking about. Astrology. I am going to be talking about current stuff. So everything in this video really does apply through, let's say April 15th or so of 2026. So watch this before middle of April for sure. Otherwise, there are a lot of things in here that are going to be timeless too. And just this video, okay, there are portions of this video that I'm going to cut out and make smaller that are always applicable. And we're going to start there actually. Before we get into currently what's going on, let's just talk a little bit about what is happening during, you know what? You can go here. Voila. Fantastic. Okay. So, Mercury Retrograde ends tomorrow. Same day that the sun moves into Aries. When this happens, it doesn't mean that the whole retrograde cycle is complete. It means that the second part of the 3-part cycle has completed. The meatiest, weirdest, catch your attention because it's confusing and messes things up, the retrograde portion. Yeah, it is really important. But if we only focus on the retrograde portion, the question marks, and then the retrograde ends and we go, oh, cool, well, something's happened in there, moving forward. You're missing so many opportunities for the retrograde to benefit you in that following 3 weeks, 4 weeks after the station direct happens. And I'll break down this vocabulary for you so you understand what I'm saying when I'm saying station direct or station retrograde. But when this happens, we have something that's called the shadow phase. We actually have 2 shadow phases within a retrograde period. And this goes for any retrograde, no matter what the planet is or asteroid or whatever it is. Okay. In this case, we're talking about Mercury, planet of communication, information, transportation, etc., etc. But those are the main things with Mercury. Hermes, okay, god of information and the transportation of that information. Learning, all of that. From books and facts. So Gemini, also think Gemini and Virgo, both are ruled by Mercury. And if you know the houses, then 3rd house themes and 6th house themes you can even apply within Mercury. All right, now, so if we don't pay attention to what's happening in the shadow phases, then we are completely missing the whole point of the retrograde. So let's break it down. One, we're going to get to this. So one, the phases of the retrograde cycle. I don't know if you can actually read this or not. Hopefully you can. Hopefully you can. I don't know. This is an experiment. Hi, welcome to my channel. Okay. Phases of the retrograde. So the retrograde does not end because the retrograde transit went station direct. So let's talk about this. The 3 phases of a retrograde. First, we just have direct motion. Direct motion, the sun and moon always move in direct motion. They will never go retrograde. Hell will freeze over. Or maybe someday it will. Maybe they'll go maybe that's when the world ends. Who knows? I'm joking. I'm being facetious. But those are, they're luminaries, and they always move in direct motion. And if you've seen in some other videos of mine, well, who cares? I'm going to talk about it again and again and again. But direct motion is counterclockwise when you're looking at an astrological chart. So we always have house 1 over here moving counterclockwise. Okay, that is considered direct motion. So if you're studying chart reading, you will watch planets transit in this kind of musical chairs fashion. And when they go retrograde, which is backwards, you'll see them go clockwise. And that's retrograde motion, if we're just looking at the chart. Okay, on a day-to-day, like here. And I can put this up in a window, I guess. But like, this is cool. On Astro Gold, or whatever this thing is called. I think it's Astro Gold. You can move forward by days, by months, by hours. This is not an ad. I'm just talking about how cool that is. So you can actually like move forward and backwards, and you can watch as the planets move. And then when they go retrograde, they start dipping back down, or they start going that way, or just depending on where they are in their orbit, their cycle. So phase 1 is direct motion. It's just what's happening, honey. It's like how we move forward. It's what we like as our, 3D, especially neurotypical people are going to love direct motion. But neurodivergence, get a little bit into the retrogrades. I'm going to help you enjoy the retrogrades. This is going to make sense. By the end of this video, you are going to understand how this whole cycle works and how to apply it, okay? And to make your life better. That's my goal here. I want to make your life better. Seriously. Okay, so step 1, direct motion. I'm going down here for right now just because that's how Mercury's been looking in my chart. It's been going through my 4th and 5th house over the past few months and then the retrograde cycle. It's going to be different for you. And that is going to also give you a ton of information on what themes, even people in your life, that this the retrograde cycles, the mix-ups, the miscommunications, the mishaps, this is could really shed light on some serious oh, whoa, that is an area of my life where this Mercury retrograde cycle has really been impacting it. Okay. So you'll see me do this. It doesn't really matter. Okay. It's just kind of giving you an idea based off of this wheel. This is the info that never changes when you're looking at a chart. Aside from that's the board. That's the layout. And then all of the pieces on the board, if it's a game, if we're playing a board game, then you pick your piece, the shoe, or the green one, or whatever, right? Each luminary planet, everything is a piece on this game board that moves around, like Monopoly, it moves around in a certain direction. But sometimes you get an Uno reverse, if it's Uno. Okay, I'm going into different metaphors here. Okay, all right, okay. None of that really mattered. I could probably cut that out. It's Mercury and Pisces, babe. None of this is going to be linear, and I'm especially going to tangent out. So just be patient with me. And enjoy it. Enjoy the show. And then as we transit with more things moving into Aries, all of our communication is going to start to move forward. We've got the sun moving into Aries tomorrow. We've already got Venus in Aries. We've got a lot of things in Aries already, moving us into this new astrological year. And also then paired on top of, like, we're going into Aries season, which is cardinal fire. Let's go. And it's a fire horse year. This last Pisces Mercury retrograde energy with the Piscean North Node still going through. We've got Mars in Pisces still. We still have a lot of these board pieces in Pisces, allowing us this final release of 2025, of that wood snake year that allowed us to shed skin, to see things clearly, to see the people in our lives that show up consistently because of unconditional love versus the people that maybe don't. So we still have this beautiful energy applicable and available to us for the next 4 weeks or so. If you're seeing this by March 20th, by the equinox, you know, we still have another 3-4 weeks of this. And this is the aha period. Okay, so first we've got that direct motion, and then we get into the shadow phase of the direct motion. And that's when you see the planet, in this case Mercury, hit the first degree that it's going to end up, like it's going to go this way, and then it's going to go station retrograde, which means then it's going to go in retrograde motion backwards. And whatever degree it hits here to station direct so that it can turn back around and go in direct motion again. Essentially, these specific degrees, in this case, 8 to 22 degrees Pisces, is where we've already had the direct motion and the bink. We hit the shadow phase, I think February 6th. I think that's when Mercury first hit 8 degrees Pisces and moved forward pretty much a degree every day for the most part. Mercury's moves a degree a day kind of thing. Until it gets to the degrees, so 22 degrees. I'm kind of like really spanning a huge area here, so don't take me literally. I'm just giving you a visual. When it hit 22 degrees, when it went retrograde on February 26th, it actually hung out that 22 degree mark for 6 days. Because when Mercury stations, so first phase, just direct motion, and we'll hit an area, we'll hit a degree somewhere in your chart, that 8 degree Pisces in this case, where it starts off these are going to be the topics that we're going to be getting real confusing over the next few weeks. We have a preview. This is going to happen again in like 2 months, honeys, for the Mercury retrograde through Cancer. And it's going to happen again in Scorpio season. This is a heart activation and emotional intelligence, EQ raising, definitely emotional intelligence. Ooh. Don't we love it when like those random connections just hit and it's like, I didn't even think of it that way, but it's definitely with Mercury, intelligence, information, communication, thoughts, ideas, learning. With Mercury, whatever I just said, it just left me. It just like dissolved. Pisces like, move on. Okay. So once it hit that 22 degree mark and went retrograde, that's the second phase. That's the station retrograde. When it hit the 22 degree mark and it hung out there for 6 days, February 26th through whatever 6 days is, March 4th. And we had that eclipse, full moon, March 3rd. Okay. And it went backwards a degree a day-ish until now. For the past few days, it's been hanging out at 8 degrees Mercury because we're ending the Mercury retrograde period, which means we're ending the second part of this 3-part phase. We're ending the confusing part. The first part is a preview. Hey, foreshadowing. It's kind of like a movie. Mercury retrograde is very much just like 3-part plot with all the like weird stuff in the middle. But you have foreshadowing in the first part, the pre-shadow phase, outlining the degrees. This is what we're going to be doing. So themes will be coming up. So think back to the whole month of February. What were the themes coming up for you? Because over the past 3 weeks, now that we've moved through the retrograde backwards portion of this three-part phase, we've gotten a lot of the like question marks left. Possibly some of them you've got some answers or conclusions, but for the majority of us, most likely not yet. Because that's where the third part comes in, and people just skip it because they don't know. It's no one's fault. There's just, I don't know. I'm not out there searching for astrologers and watching what they do because it gives me imposter syndrome and it weirds me out. And believe me though, I love lots of astrologers out there. K Moon, Cam White, those are just some love, okay? Like, love. We're all different. But the thing is, we can get pretty triggered by each other because this is all our own interpretations. We're all biased by our own birth charts and how things are moving through. And why I'm saying this is because I haven't found anyone who talks about Mercury retrograde like I'm so passionate about it. And it's not to say there aren't people out there, and I'd love to connect more with you if you are one of these Mercury retrograde, like you've been studying it for a long time and you're really into it and you have amazing insights. Like, yes. Because that's the beauty of Aries energy. Really quick tangent. Don't hate on your Aries friends thinking that they always have to be right. Aries is cardinal fire, not fixed fire, honey. Cardinal. Meaning that Aries is going to be open-minded enough if they're illuminated, not if they're shadowed. Sure, shadow, they're going to be all in their ego and they're going to want to be right. Okay, maybe you've met some really like in their ego and shadow, like Aries energy. But illuminated Aries are going to hear out everyone's ideas and they are going to say, oh, that one's the best. Like, that's what we should do. And they're going to unite the group and lead in the direction that is best for the group. Especially if they have some pretty active Aquarian energy in their charts too. But so what have we covered so far? That there's 3 parts to this whole Mercury retrograde cycle that I just haven't heard people talking about the third part. And the third part is where a lot of the magic happens. And honestly, if you can understand the first part and know when it's happening and pay attention to it, you can pick up on a lot of information. Okay? So, if you're still with me here, let me know how this is like helping. And this is what you need to know. Until April 9th. April 9th is when we move out of this second shadow phase. Like as of March 20th, Mercury will go back from 8 degrees and it's going to move to 9 degrees and 10 degrees all the way back up. So it's traced over this 8 to 22 degree placement in Pisces. This is the 3rd time it's going over it in the past month and a half. So it's during these next few weeks that you can expect more of the communication to come in if there hasn't been communication. If there have been answers left as question marks, like you don't have clarity on something. Or it's a time for reconciliation to really ground and take. It's a really amazing time for reflecting on all of the things that have come up, reviewing all of it, and using your intuition, especially in the Pisces retrograde cycle. Use your intuition. And again, if your dreams have been especially active too, for some of us, like our dreams are really active right now. And so you also be getting a lot of information and insights through that. And again, I'm feeling that for many, if you're watching this, your psychic abilities have also increased. Even if just a little bit, you've noticed. And for some of us, it's a lot. So this is the magic part right now. I have a workbook. I haven't talked about it at all, really. I've just said, I have a workbook if you want to buy it. It's half off because we're ending this end of the retrograde cycle, and then I'm going to be taking it away April 9th when we finish out the shadow phase and then we move forward, okay? Then I'll have another one for Cancer season. I want to bite by bite, small bit at a time, baby step at a time, help anyone that is wanting to learn more about how to use their personal astrology as a personal growth tool and self-actualization tool. And if you're also just wanting to learn more about how to read charts, or let's say you have no interest in that, but you're kind of going to learn how anyway, which I think is really valuable. I want to teach people how to read for themselves. Because then in a whole nother video, then we can talk about horoscopes. Because if you don't know your birth chart, then the horoscope is, why are you living in Hawaii watching the weather report currently for Alaska thinking that it's going to snow outside? Possibly an exaggeration for some people, but for a lot of us, if you're just listening to a horoscope and you don't know your placements, it's literally like watching a weather report for a place that you don't live in, thinking that that weather is coming your way. It's passionate about that one, very. So I want you, and we're into this. We're into horoscopes. I love listening to other astrologers. But also, that's part of my imposter syndrome over the years is, how do I express myself as an astrologer when really, the example I'm seeing is that everyone's talking about Saturn and Neptune are now in Pisces for the first time in 1,000 years. Again. Okay, I'm being a little spicy, a little annoyed. It's still valid information. And it is true. No, it hasn't been 1,000 years, honey. With Saturn only takes 2.5 to 3.5 years to move through a sign. So it was 30-ish years ago was the last time that Saturn was in Aries. So if you have Saturn in Aries, hi, welcome to your Saturn return. Fun! The rougher one is when you turn 38 and you have this Uranus square or whatever it is. Gonna need to look into what the actual thing is, but believe me, that one is a little bit rougher. God, really tangenting out on a lot of different topics. If these are things that interest you, that you want me to go more into in other videos, I'm going to anyway, but let me know because I'll prioritize it. So let me see. How far off topic have I gotten? And how quickly can I get back? To basically, the point of this video is to help you understand that there's a lot more happening during this whole retrograde cycle. And most people are going to be talking about the actual retrograde without really diving deeply into this whole 3-part series sequence. And how they're all meant to work together to give you... It's like the universe is coming in and giving you... have you ever heard those where you have to give someone... you have to tell someone kind of a criticism. Especially this happens in the work scene. If you are a leader and you have employees under you or... whatever it might be, and you need to give an employee some constructive criticism, and they say use the Oreo cookie method, where you tell them something that you've noticed that is really positive that they're doing, and then let them know you've also noticed that, hey, there's this thing I just want you to work on, I've noticed, or your team is whatever it is, whatever. And then you finish by saying, also, I really appreciate you always being on time, or you're always so optimistic, or you're always so open-minded, and you took this really well, and I just appreciate you here. Da-da-da-da-da. That's kind of what's happening with Mercury Retrograde. Mercury Retrograde's hey, direct motion into shadow phase. Hey, you know, I've really been noticing all these cool things about you, and like, this is great. Retrograde, oh, but we're gonna need to work on this. And you're like, what? And then, oh, direct again. Hey, and here's why, and you're also doing great, and blah, 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 and more clarity, and you take that advice and you move forward, and things move forward. So the step back isn't horrible. It's also a cosmic dance. I was thinking about this earlier, and thinking especially in the context of partner dancing and waltzing, and I was seeing ballroom dancing. I was seeing all these scenes from old movies like Little Women or The Sound of Music. It might be a good time during the shadow phase to also like rewatch some old movies that you love. And with Pisces energy, like musicals can really be a part of that, or like fantasy. I'm an intuitive reader, guys, so I am a personal astrologer, and that's what I'm trying to talk about here. But if a message comes through, I'm gonna give it. Okay? So for someone, you might need to rewatch an old movie, but I was seeing this scene earlier of people dancing. And when you're in a partner dance, or even like the two-step in country line dancing, or swing, or whatever, boxes everywhere, people boxes everywhere. Cute little work zone. When you're in a partner dance, you're not just like both people walking forward. Then that would be walking, potentially even marching. But when you're in a partner dance, there's, as a collective, as a duo that's one, united as one, you're moving forward together. But each person individually are taking steps backwards too. And so that's a part of this energy also. Like this is a dance. If you're able to look at the Mercury Retrograde geometrical pattern that shows up, like you can look it up, probably it's like a time lapse of Mercury Retrograde. You'll see a really cool geometric shape. The Venus retrograde is my favorite. I think it's most people's favorite. It actually is called the Venus rose because of the geometric shape that the retrograde creates. Is gorgeous and like a flower. So there's magic imbued in this wonky WTF. Oh no, Mercury's retrograde, you know. There's still so much value to the like of it, because you're gonna have moments of that during it no matter what. However, there's so much good that comes from the retrograde periods, and especially Mercury retrograde. So that was something I was tangenting on for a second. And if you are interested in the workbook, it starts off, you can still get it. It's very affordable, and it gives you your own personal transformation experience. We're going to start to baby step, get to know your chart, get to know how it affects you in different ways. Because it's a lot of information to take in when you're learning all of this. So let's make it like bite size and easy to digest. Okay, so the workbook, if you want to get it, I'd love you so much. It's birthday present for me. My birthday's tomorrow, so if you want to support me, I'd love you. Plus I'm moving, honey. There's a lot of paying for a lot of stuff right now. So, but even you just being here, I appreciate you. Even just like, yeah, thank you so much for being here. So the workbook. The first page is a word search. It's all Pisces themed. The second page is just like definitions, vocabulary definitions, so that you have space to write down things, because they are basically vocabulary for you to learn. They're things that have symbolism that I want you to look up. And I don't put those answers anywhere. So it's all on you. It's like 17 or 18 words hidden in this word search. So you literally, like, you can do this to the extent that you want to. But even just looking at these pages and letting ideas spark is going to give you a transformation, whether you actually like fill it out or not. But then if you go and fill it out, these pages, this is going to really, really ingrain this information in you and to help you connect with yourself on a more intuitive level, especially with handwriting. I love handwriting and I can't speak highly enough about it. Okay. Then there's a page that's dedicated to your Mercury sign and learning about that. There's a page dedicated to Pisces and where that lands or lives in your chart, what houses it occupies. So you learn more about that area of your life, and whenever anything's transiting, which means it's just moving through that sign. So in this case, we're talking Pisces. How it affects you specifically, how it affects everyone in general, and then how it affects you specifically. And there are pages in there for like the kind of negative aspects and the scary things that we think of or hear people talk about when it comes to Mercury retrograde, and how even they're still like applicable, but we don't want to just focus on the negative, because there's always a silver lining. So then there's another sheet on the silver linings and how these everything's like actually working for you, and all the benefits if you really pay attention to them and you're open to receiving all of these benefits that you can get. What else? There are a few more fun pages. I don't know. I created this thing like 2.5 months ago. I actually started with the retrograde that happened in Sagittarius, Scorpio last year, like November, December, or whatever it was in 25. But I just had way too much happening. And so I stopped and I put all of my energy into the Pisces one. So it's like, it's ready to go. And it's at your own pace, and it's like boom, immediate to your, as soon as you purchase it, it goes immediately to your inbox and you have access to all of those sheets. And then I'll be continuing to put info up on this channel, so feel free to find me here. You'll also find me on Instagram through this name, but I'm not as active over there. But otherwise, you'll only find me really here on YouTube. Last things that I wanted to talk about. I hope that kind of just really makes sense. Like, we have that first phase direct, moving into that direct motion but shadow period, where it's tracing for the first time over those degrees. That it then, in the second phase, is going to hit station direct. Station just means it's hitting a place, so that degree that it begins at or ends at. Station means it's kind of like, it's like you're at the gas station. You pull over for a minute, so you're there for a little bit. And then you get back on the road and you move again, and then you station, right? So we're in direct motion going into the shadow phase, and then the first station that we hit in a retrograde period is that station retrograde. And then it begins to move backwards. Okay, so we have the retrograde motion backwards, and then it hits in the third phase, that station direct, which is what's happening right now, March 20th, March 21st, March 22nd. And then it's going to be now in this third phase, moving in direct motion again, but in a shadow again of the degrees that it's already gone over twice before. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And then it's going to move out of that. Again, depending on where in your chart, it'll be in different areas. That's going to have different meanings for you. It's just very comfortable for me to do it this way because I'm a Scorpio rising. So you get extra benefit here if you are another Scorpio rising, and we tend to find each other. I'd love to know if you're a Scorpio rising. Definitely pull in a lot of Scorpio risings. I've found that also with Piscean moons. Piscean moons tend to like magnetize to each other and hang out together, and especially like consider each other like a soul fam. And then I find that a lot of Scorpio risings, what's interesting though about Scorpio risings, another tangent for another video, is that many cases Scorpio risings can repel at first that person. And it takes some time where you're around each other a lot, kind of because you like have to, you're forced to be around each other for some reason. You're in a group, or you're coworkers, or you're a friend, like they're dating someone that's a Scorpio rising and you're that, and you're like, oh, God, this person. But after time, you go like, well, you're really cool. They're like, you're really cool too. I thought you were really intimidating, kind of like a, you know, a jerk or something. Me too. I totally thought that about you. So Scorpio risings have this weird thing together. Right? And if there was a phase D or a fourth phase, it's when we're already in direct motion. So there is no fourth phase. It's just we're in direct motion. Okay? So it's April 9th that Mercury moves to 23 degrees. So maybe it's April 10th that Mercury moves to 23 degrees Pisces. And so then, yeah, it would be about like a week later or so. So April, I'm going off of what I wrote down. I haven't looked at this. This was months ago that I wrote this stuff down. So check my work. But yeah, it should be April 15th that Mercury moves into Aries. And then it's going to move a degree a day. So it's going to take like 30 days, about a month. Similar to the sun movement, a degree a day-ish. And then as it moves through Aries and moves through Taurus, it's going to get into Cancer season, and it's going to hit some degrees in Cancer that we're going to be retrograding through, and this is going to start all over again, but in Cancer. Are you ready? Okay, workbook is still available for the next few weeks. If you would like to hop on that, I'd love you so much, and I'd love your feedback on that too. It's my first digital product that I am actually selling. Wow. Created this 3 or 4 times over the past 5 years, and none of them really felt right or worked. So I've been refining my techniques over time, and I'm reintroducing myself. It's a perfect thing to do when you've been doing things for a while and you want to change it up or go back, restart. That's what we're doing here. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped. It's getting really warm in here and I'm going to go. I need to eat some food. I need to recharge. Happy New Year. Aries season is upon us. Cardinal fire. Currently, Mercury. Last thought. Mercury is conjunct with the North Node at 8 degrees Pisces right now as I'm filming. And it will stay. Let's see. And it will stay. Okay. Tomorrow they will move apart. So Mercury is still going to be in 8 degrees, and the North Node and South Node, which always move in retrograde motion, by the way, they never move in direct motion. That's going to be in 7 degrees. So we're going to start to see them move apart from each other. But over the past, let's see how many days they've already been in conjunction with one another. Today, yesterday, the day before that. Okay, so for the past 3 days, the North Node and Mercury have been sitting together in the same degree in Pisces. That is very unique. So right now, as we're speaking, because when does it move out of here? Tomorrow? Let's see. Today's the 19th. Okay, today. So tomorrow. They're still within a conjunction. So all of this is to say that the North Node is our North Star. It's our soul's highest evolution and it's the direction that our soul is supposed to evolve into in this incarnation. The South Node, its exact opposite, is very karmic in nature, and it shows you your skill sets in past lives. And if you have conjunctions with other people in synastry charts, it's going to tell you a lot about how you were together in past lives. This is where astrology gets really fun into past life readings. Woo! So I can be a predictive astrologer, but I'm more of a past astrologer. I look at your birth chart, which is in the past, And I do read a lot of karmic information in charts, which you'll also learn how to do. So the fact that we have the North Node at 8 degrees Pisces conjunct this Mercury that's been like hanging in Pisces and going back and forth in Pisces and really spending time in this very sensitive spiritual sign. There's an activation for every single person on the planet in how we communicate, aligning with the place that our souls are evolving into as a collective. Basically just means there's a lot more light entering in. There's a lot more 5D entering in. Pisces is very connected to the 5D more than the 3D. It's very ethereal. It's very Christ consciousness. It's very much around forgiveness, compassion, healing, seeing no separation. Right? Which is also like super delulu. It's like fantasy. It's escapism, it's rose-tinted glasses. There are different ways that you can lean into this energy. Some are more constructive and some are more destructive. But it being the North Node, that's a spiritual activation. There's spiritual insights coming in for people. There's spiritual downloads coming in for people. People are connecting to their psychic abilities. People are connecting telepathically. People are connecting in the dream space, in the astral realm, through meditation, through the heart center, by raising your frequency. So play around with all the Piscean themes. Especially fun to do that word search page. Who doesn't like a word search? Let's gamify this. But you can hone in on a lot of those words to your advantage still. I think that's all I need to say. I really hope this helped. Thank you for being here. Subscribe if you're new, like, comment, whatever. And maybe I'll see you over in another video or in my store. Until then.